We want to invite you to imagine how we could transform the internet to help connect humanity through compatibility in objectives and problems to be solved. Have you imagined what could happen when we achieve it? If you have never imagined what could happen, we want to invite you to start imagining it right now. For the last few years, I have been researching and validating user stories to achieve those goals, and I was waiting for an opportunity like this to build a first prototype and a startup weekend. In the research I have been doing, I identified that we can improve the way in which we organize these types of events, for example, hackathons or entrepreneurship events like this, and the methods to connect with people and organizations with which we could structure initiatives, projects, events, and organization. One of the challenges we have is to raise awareness among people and organizations about the importance of using and adapting management by objectives. That's a methodology, managing by problems, and the use of good practices such as OKRs, how might we, KPIs. I have also found that we must devise, propose, promote, and validate methods to define, track, and connect objectives, just as was one done with hashtags. If you read about the history of hashtags, it started with Twitter, and later it became to be used in the other social networks and in the internet. In this regard, it is very important that to investigate and debate metadata for objectives and metadata for problems. Currently, there are software to manage objectives and problems and even to manage good practices. So, objectives and key resources and how might we. Those good practices are used in Google, Meta, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, etc. But we do not have massive, simple, and integrated tools that facilitate the connection between people and organization. For example, if we can start to connect organizations who are working in projects or even related with sustainable development goals, for example, we can organize our server or with specific goals. We can we can promote, for example, the corporate entrepreneurship. We can match different projects between people and organizations. To achieve these goals, we must also design APIs and web services that connect with compatible and complementary social networks and digital products. It is very important because it is not enough to create a social network, a system, or software to connect by goals, because we need to promote a trade on the internet and we need to start using it, for example, in the groups, in social networks, in the publication in social network, in the images, in the videos, in, in infographics, for example. Well, it is very important in this case to discuss how the web will be organized in the future, and I hope that in the event that we will be participating in Startup Weekend, we become to start those debates, research, and prototypes. I have been talking with some people through internet, but it has not been enough. I hope that on this day, on this event, we can start to make something about it, because we will create a prototype, and I want to invite to the user researcher, the UX designers, the programmers, engineers, potential user of the system. I want to invite you, the people from different countries who are viewing this video, in order to participate in the event and in the next days. The application of what we call bit is so big that I have been validating the use in specific aspects such as citizen participation, entrepreneurship, for example, like has such as in this case, politics, government, sustainable development goals, as I mentioned before, in the organization of protests or strikes, in crowdsourcing. It will be very important for crowdsourcing, for vesting, for hackathons, for the management of research. For example, at this moment, when we make public research, it usually has some goals, but the goals are not organized in metadata. Usually, the people need to search through hashtags, and we need to define metadata for goals, or for problems, or for questions. The initiatives, it will be very important for projects, for events, for organization, as I mentioned before, for publication, for groups in social network, images, videos, documents, infographics, among others. So I want to invite you to join us to participate in the event. It will be very, very important. And I leave the proof that on October 16 I did this video at 10:41 global meridian time 5 in Colombia. We want to put our grain of sand from Colombia in order to connect humanity. I hope to make it real from this month. Have a good year and have a good century.